Oh, hello there. I'm Bilchan.
I'm Nimikung.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you Chapter 5, Section 2 of The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
As.
Ah.
The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Author Conan Doyle. Chapter 5, Section 2. He took a fancy to me. Or so. This would be in the year 1878. After he had been 8 or 9 years in England. To me in his way. Nay. And he would make me his representative both with the servants and with the tradespeople. House. Liked. So long as I did not disturb him in his privacy. There was one singular exception. However, for he had a single room. A lumber room up among the attics, which was invariably locked, and which he would never permit either me or anyone else to enter. With a boy's curiosity I have peeped through the keyhole, and bundles as would be expected in such a room. One day, it was in March. Late. It was not a common thing for him to receive letters, for his bills were all paid in ready money, and he had no friends of any sort. From India, said he as he to get up. Upon the tree postmark. Walking this be, opening it hurriedly. At there jumped 5 little dried orange bibs, which pattered down upon his plate. I began to laugh at this, but the laugh was struck from my lips at the sight of his face. His lip had fallen. His eyes were protruding. His skin the colour of putty. And he glared at the envelope which he still held in his trembling hand. There. Tay. He shrieked. And then, My God. What is it? Uncle? I cried. Death, said he. And rising from the table he retired to his room, leaving me palpitating with horror. I took up the envelope and saw scrawled in red ink upon the inner flap, just above the gum, the letter K 3 times repeated. There was nothing else save the 5 dried peps. What could be the reason of his overpowering terror? I left the breakfast table. He, which must have belonged to the attic, in one hand, and a small brass box, like a cash box, in the other. They made you what they like, but I'll checkmate them still, said he with an oath. Tell Mary that I shall want a fire in my room today, and send down to for them. I did as he ordered, and when the lawyer arrived I was asked to step up to the room. The fire was burning brightly, and in the grate there was a mass of black, fluffy ashes, as of burned paper, while the brass box stood open and empty beside it. As I glanced at the box I noticed, with a start, warning upon the envelope. I wish you, John, said my uncle, to witness my will. I leave my estate, with all its advantages and all its disadvantages, to my brother, your father, whence it will, no doubt, descend to you, if you can enjoy it in peace. Well and good. If you find you cannot, take my advice, my boy, and leave it to your deadliest enemy. I am sorry to give you such a huge thing, but I can't say what turn things are going to take. Kindly sign the paper where Mr. I signed the paper as directed, and the lawyer took it away with him. The singular incident made, as you may think, the deepest impression upon me, able to make anything of it. Yet I could not shake off the vague feeling of dread which it left behind. The usual routine of our lives. I could see a change in my uncle. However, he drank more than ever, and he was less inclined for any sort of society. Most of his time he would spend in his room, with the door locked upon the inside of the house and tear about the garden with a revolver in his hand, screaming out that he was afraid of no man, and that he was not to be cooped up, like a sheep in a pen, by man or devil. When these hot fits were over, however, he would brush tumultuously in at the door and lock and bar it behind him. At the roots of his soul, at such times I have seen his face, even on a cold day, glistening with moisture, as though it were new raised from a basin. Well, to cut an end of the matter, Mr. Holmes, and not to miss your patience, never came back. We found him. When we went to search for him, face downward in a little green scum pool, which lay at the foot of the garden, there was no sign of any violence, and the water was but 2 feet deep, so that the jury, having regard to his known eccentricity, brought a verdict of suicide. But I, who knew how he winced from the very thought of death, meet it. The matter passed, however, and my father entered into possession of the estate, and of some 14,000. One moment, Holmes interposed. Your statement is to be continued.